Yeah. Right. We are going live again today. I've been expecting my guests, but he has not shown up so far. It's not shown up so far. That's talking about Afro rock artist, legendary uh, artist, Kadabasi. I don't know what we're wrong. It's actually off. It's even offline. I've been trying to get him for some hours now, but it's offline. So I don't know because he didn't get back to me on the reason why he might not turn up today. Let me read this. He might not turn up today, so he has not gotten back to me. So I'll just hold on to it and see if he could come up at any time. But the show must go on. Artists or no artists, we are primed to talk about Nigerian music because it's a passion. We only try to bring in artists so that they can express things from their own point of view. But sometimes anything could happen. I've done my own bit. I publicized, we communicated, we agreed, even as at Friday. But today I've not heard anything from Father Basi. But there's no harm. I'm always ready to talk about Nigerian music in anytime, even if you wake me up from sleep, I can talk about Nigerian. That's the only thing I know how to talk. I talk about Nigerian music more than my profession. And I've told people the reason. The reason is just that I've gone over music over time. And one of those times I started listening to Nigerian music early in the 90s, I was disappointed going to buy a Nigerian album in a Nigerian shop in Nigeria. And I was told that they don't sell Nigerian music. That's when I decided to take it upon myself to talk about, to evangelize about Nigerian music. So this is a thing I've done for, let's say, from 1991 till now. So I've been a patron, a big fan of the music industry. Same thing with our local league, football league. I tried to follow the local football league in Nigeria as much as possible. So if you wake me up from sleep, can talk about Nigerian music. So if Father Basi shows up, we'll bring him in and start, continue with him. But in the meantime, there's a topic I've been preparing to discuss on my own. So I think I'll just bring up that topic. And the issue is, I want to believe that we at Afrobeats or Nigerian music got onto the global stage very late in the day compared to other music from other places. For instance, reggae from Jamaica and even Soukous and Makossa, Soukous from Congo, Makossa from Cameroon, and even the Latino. I think we got to where we are now too late in the day. And the reason from my thinking is that our cultural diversity is responsible for that. Even though the same cultural diversity have played a big part in shaping Afrobeat to be what it is now, I strongly believe that the same diversity was the hindrance or the drawback, not allowing our music to progress fast enough, early enough to the global stage. I might be wrong. Nobody has exclusive knowledge about things, so I might be wrong, but it's just my thinking. Because if you look at it, most countries that are a bit more homogeneous got their culture out there fast enough. If you look at Jamaica, for instance, reggae music in Jamaica is common. They don't have too much music form. So as early as the late 60s to early 70s, ska, they started with ska. Ska has already made a global mark. Then later on, reggae came in late 60s, 70s, and went global. Same thing in Africa. While you had things like Makossa made a mark, especially because of the French connection, they got to the global. Everybody knew about Makossa on a wider scale than our own music. So because most of the artists from those countries, they speak the same language, they project the same kind of genre, they project the same kind of sound. And when the world wants to accept their music, they accept their music wholeheartedly. So if you're just coming in, I'm waiting for my guests. I've not had any communication from Father Basi, but as on Friday, we are still good, like he'll join up. But even if he doesn't join up, my topics are always ready. Maybe another time we'll feature him or feature any other artists, even though I've planned to stop this live streaming by next weekend so that I can reassess and maybe use individual platform. Like if I want to do YouTube, I do YouTube. If I want to do Facebook, I do Facebook. We are just starting where, artists could be, sometimes their own wahala, they're too much. But then all the same, we are hoping that Father Basi will join along the line. But for me, for now, I'm just bringing up a topic I've been working on. I wanted to present it alone, and that is, why did Nigerian music get to the global stage a bit late? I'm not talking of juju music. Juju music was there. Everybody knew. Fela's Afrobeat was there. Everybody knew about Fela. But then, as one, you could not easily say that Afrobeat, that's Fela's Afrobeat, was or represented Nigerian music. You could not easily say that juju music, Sonny Ade, Beneza Obe and the rest represented the entirety of Nigerian music. You could not even say that Osadebe and the rest in the highlife genre represented the entirety of Nigerian music. So this is what we are talking about. But now, at the moment, we have Afrobeats, as it were, even though Afrobeats on its own has different components, but the whole world can easily identify Nigeria with this genre, that is Afrobeats, even though we've been able to carry along other African countries. So in essence, the culture that has made Afrobeats to become a global phenomenon is also the same culture that hindered it from making that progress on time. Now, why it has made it possible for the world to get to catch up with the genre is that the mix from different aspects of our music, our culture, the Fuji, the Apala, the highlife, the juju, has made it possible that a new sound, an entirely new sound, was created, which the world did not really understand and eventually bought into it. So that is the essence of the cultural diversity of Nigeria has played in projecting the genre to where it is at the moment. But before now, it was something else. And to worsen matters, in the late 70s, in the 70s and the 80s, our artists were kind of copying the foreign music or foreign culture, so to speak. We had pop, we had reggae, we had funk. All those times, these other countries like the Congo, the Cameroon, they were deep into their culture. They were building their culture, and that's why they got to the stage faster than us. We know the time that even as late as early 2000 that Awilo will come to Nigeria and fill up the stadium, whereas none of our artists were able to do that. So Awilo could come pack a stadium from Congo. In fact, Nigerian artists will be struggling to share stage with him. That was just as late as 2000. Why? Because they had a strong voice. They have projected their culture to the stage that the whole world accepted it. We too accepted, we too bought into it. But for us, it was difficult for us because the population, the music self was limited by culture. Highlife was very strong in the east, so you have Nigerian, even Nigerian highlife was even divided into two. We now had the southwest kind of highlife, or southeast kind of highlife, Igbo highlife. We had the Sadebe, the Oliver the Cock, the Bright Chimezie. Then in the southwest, had the Orlando Wars and the rest, speaking in different languages. Fela had his own genre, so to speak, and more or less like a family kind of thing. Personally, I thought that probably Fela's Afrobeat would have been the way out early enough, but then his own music was, I don't know, since I'm not an artist or a musician, I don't know how easy or how difficult it was for other people to play Fela's kind of music. So it became difficult for people to buy into that music on a large scale, even locally, not to talk of internationally, even though we all know that the Afrobeat bands around the world, they are not even Nigerian, but the Afrobeat bands around the world that are playing Fela's kind of music. But it wasn't enough for it to be equated to Nigerian music in its entirety. So those are the things. We got to the world stage late because our diversity equally hindered us seriously. And again, what did not help again was, I mentioned before, trying to turn towards foreign kind of music was it's a big negative. There's no way you can play reggae more than the Jamaicans, or you cannot play pop more than the Americans or the Britons. You cannot do Makossa more than the Cameroonians. You cannot do Soukous more than the Congolese. So that was just the issue with trying to climb the global stage. But you see, as time now went on, when we got to the 2000s, with technology, with the streaming platform, with video, YouTube, and the rest, younger ones have been able to bridge this thing, put these things together, and climb that stage gradually, getting acceptance in hip hop, in pop, in reggae, because now you have Jamaicans now buying into Afrobeat, now trying to play Afrobeats. And it's now a problem for them because they are buying the culture from elsewhere. Some of the Jamaicans are equally complaining that Afrobeat is taking over their music. It's the same thing that we were experiencing in the 80s and in the 70s and the 80s and the early part of 90s. So the most important thing as a country is to keep the culture. How do you move forward? Is to keep the culture, trying to re-engineer from behind, go back to what is there, because the whole world is catching up. Very soon, every culture will, since Afrobeat is the thing, every culture will try to adapt that sound to make it suitable for themselves. So what do? You have to re-engineer, go back to the basics, go back down, and look at your Pala, look at your Fuji, and see how you can recreate more sound. I'm not a musician, but it's just the thinking that the management, music managers, labels, artists, songwriters, producers should be able to dig deeper, because things change fast with technology these days. And the more you waste time, you can be overtaken. And there was a time that though I'm totally in support of what has happened in Africa as a whole, because with the Afrobeats, it's like they tend to like galvanize the whole African music culture into one. That's why if you go to Grammy now, Grammy were careful enough not to call the African segment award Afrobeats, because we could have localized it to like Nigeria. They call it African music. I think there are about 2 or 3 categories for African music as a whole. They were very careful, and that's a good thing that they did, to be able to bring other African cultures into the scheme. Now, but there was a time Nigerian artists were going all over Amapiano. I didn't like it personally, because you're just trying to crawl with the culture. You're being accepted as a culture, Afrobeats. Suddenly you are promoting another culture, Amapiano. But the way they've done it in such a way that they've brought it together. And even from Ghana, the Ghana hip life has kind of found its way into the Afrobeat thing, is a good one. some people say that Afrobeat is all about Nigeria. I said no, it's not all about Nigeria. It's just been a platform of bringing all the cultures together and projecting African music, African culture to the world. If you look at the recently concluded Afro Nation concert festival in Portugal, you see what I mean. They bring in artists from different parts of Africa to celebrate African music and culture. If you want to keep it a Nigerian thing, gradually will still soon lose out. But the best you can do is to keep on innovating or re-engineering the local music and keep on bringing. So as the world is catching up, you bring in more. There's still a lot more about Nigerian music that has not been exploited as far as I'm concerned, because our language is different. We are diverse. The Efik culture is there, the Bibio culture, the Yoruba culture, the Hausa Fulani is still there, untapped. So if music managers and music people that understand the theories or whatever of music, musicologists can help and build the industry, it will be better for us. It will be better for our economy, because I have a belief that tourism, culture, and music and the rest plays a big role in developing a nation. That's why it pains someone like me that, okay, we have Afro Nation, a celebration of African music, Nigerian music, and it's taking place in Portugal. For a business purpose, it's all right. I myself would do that if I'm a business person and I discover that if I do this thing in Nigeria, it will not work out. I can decide to take it anywhere. The same thing when Hip Hop World Awards went to US to do it. That's your Nimasha Headies Award. They went to. I didn't have any issue with it because it's a business decision. They are not part of the Ministry of Information and Culture. They are just on their own, so they could take whatever decision they want. Same thing with Afro Nation. They've decided to keep it in Portugal for 5 years now, celebrating African culture in Portugal. It sounds odd, but then there's nothing you can do. If you want to bring it to Nigeria, how do you cope with so many things? How do you cope with security? How do you cope with logistics? How do you cope with power? But it would have been good. It's a gain and loss thing. Business-wise, they could gain, but as a country, we lost out of it, because if you do a festival, the vendors you're going to pay, local vendors will get money, hotels will be booked, transport will be made, flights. If you use a local airline to bring in the artists, it's good for the airline, it's good for the economy, it's good for the staff. And there'll be tax, of course, there'll be tax. People, when you earn money, you pay tax. In certain places, you're taxed. So the whole economy surrounding such concerts or festival is gone. That is the loss of having those things for 5 consecutive years. Afro Nation in Portugal. That's the issue with having those things taken away from us to other places. But like I said, you cannot blame the organizers, because they must have weighed out everything and discovered that it will not make sense to do it in Nigeria. But I pray and hope for a time that it will be possible for such major events, major concerts to take place in Nigeria. So I'm still waiting. I'm not seeing Father Basi appearing. He didn't give me any reason for not turning up, but then we'll go ahead. Maybe you'll present a reason, but I've been having issues getting him on board this platform. 2 things. I'm looking forward to having more artists. At the same time, I might have to pause this live thing by the end of next week. By the last next week might be the last. We'll be doing this streaming. Well, it's a passion thing for us. We people talking about Nigerian music. The creative economy is just that you do your best, project your culture for the betterment of the future, for the betterment of other generations that will come. The only thing I find funny is that artists that are trying to approach it, they like publicity, but when sometimes they're a bit shy about, I don't know why, they're a bit shy about getting their stuff outside. I would have thought that every chance you have, especially if you are not up there, if you are not on the A list or B list or C list, that you don't need to do much, you should be able to project yourself. We are trying to kind of democratize interviews or discussions. Let me call it discussion, because I don't do interview per se. We are trying to democratize that process so that even if you are small, even if you are big, you can come and say your own part of your creativity, your own part of music. Let the world hear. You don't have to, you cannot interview yourself. Let me put it that way. You cannot interview yourself. So artists, my inbox is free on Facebook, on YouTube. If you want to if I have reasonable number to schedule the next 4, I'll go ahead. But after next week, I might have to pause and reassess the whole thing. But we'll still continue doing our videos on Music in My Ears, the Nigerian Music History channel on YouTube. And this is just a call for you to, if you are not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please kindly do so. We have almost 200 videos on Nigerian music history on YouTube. Some of them are on Facebook, but mainly on YouTube. We have so many artists that sometimes you might have forgotten. You need to get to watch their story. It takes a lot to research into these things and put them out in video clips about our star artists of the past. So Mr. Father Basi, unfortunately, he has not popped up yet. Let me check my messages. Maybe if I drop anything. Let me see the message, if it has dropped any message from me. So that is the reason I brought in the emergency topic, though I've been working on it to see, just to project some of the research or knowledge we have about this industry, because for now, it is one of the industries that give us recognition and maybe revenue outside. He has not sent any message. If you are living outside Nigeria, you get to understand what I'm talking about. Let's say you walk into a mall. You walk into a mall and you hear Nigerian music playing. You will definitely be happy. It's a feeling that brings you home and gives you some kind of pride. You know, it happened to me in Mumbai some years back. That time, the Nigerian musicians, they have not really gone this far. I was in a mall in Mumbai. I heard a Davido song playing. I was surprised. Wow. I had to go and ask, how did people get this song? They said it's on their playlist. They got it online, it's on their playlist. I was happy as a Nigerian, especially a Nigerian that appreciates our culture and our music, that, okay, these guys have done well enough. I'm talking about that's about, that maybe like 7 years ago, thereabout, 8 years ago, you know. So it made me happy. So if you are outside and you hear Nigerian music being played, you'll be happy. So we applaud that's why I don't quarrel with the younger artists. I know people have opinion that they are this, they are that. No, they only know what they know, and they can act or portray or produce according to what they know. So that is it. So it's a thing of pride to celebrate them and celebrate ourselves too. And that is why we are here and creating this opportunity to be able to talk to people, project my own self, my own belief in the industry, in the culture, and also project the artists that are willing to come on this platform to say their own side of the story about their music, about their life. You know what I'm saying? So that is it. It's about 30 minutes. I might be winding down soon since I've not had my guests here. I've not had my guests. And I think we have been lucky because of social media. If not for social media, it would have been hard because we don't have an industry per se. We don't have the labels that can, the traditional labels are not really here. The local labels have not been able to step up technologically to to the expectation of the modern world, how to go about projecting or selling your music globally and even locally. So you now see artists struggling as individuals to, become labels by themselves, become artists, become managers, become marketers, which is quite difficult for a lot of them. Quite difficult for a lot of them. And it comes out in a way that for every Davido or Burna Boy you see, you have hundreds, if not thousands, of the other ones still struggling. I interact with some of the ones coming up. It is really difficult. The production mill is suffering, and no serious support. The big labels are not in Nigeria. They only farm what is already on the way, on having some traction, but nobody's investing in the talents. They are not shows. They are not platforms to really bring out talents. So everybody just struggles like in the jungle, and it's not too good for the industry. So, like I said in the topic, our culture, thank God we have broken through and turned around the culture from being a hindrance to being the very factor that has enabled Afrobeat or African music to climb the global stage. So that is the bit I could present. I just fill the gap in since my guest did not show up today, Father Basi. I'll be talking to some other guests. I think I'm more or less finished with the first set of guests I had projected for the first for a live session. So I'll be talking to another set of guests from next week. I'll see their commitment to come and say their own part of the story, part of their music story, because you need to leave something behind. History is not being taught in Nigerian schools again. Nobody teaches music history in any case. It's few people that have taken music history as a calling, and that includes Burna Boy's grandpa, that's Pa Benson, his own grandfather, that used to be Fela's manager. That's a great one. I had some other people that I look up to as in music history. It's not a cause, it's a calling. And few people that are into it will keep on pushing to leave things behind for future generations to come and see. Because if you don't know where you're coming from, there's no way you can project into the future. And music history is not easy to be documented by musicians. It's not their job to document music history. But it's a good thing that they have internet. Some of them are doing well by leaving their footsteps behind for people to come and see. But I tell you, those artists, some of the artists in the 80s, in the 70s, they are nowhere to be found, even on the internet. It's very difficult to pick information by around them, even on the internet. So you can imagine in the next 20 years, you might not even see much about some of these people. And they're not doing so well. One of the reasons why we do is for them to, for maybe can I call it opportunities, for people to recognize them, or maybe anything can happen. It's an online world, anything can happen. We saw what happened with Brent Jota. We've seen what Davido did with the bridesmaids. Yeah? Those are the things we are talking of. But then artists will be reluctant to come and say their own part of the story. I don't understand. But then it's not my problem. I want is to keep on talking, keep on, portraying what we know how to do, talking about Nigerian music. So if you have not subscribed to our channel, my channel is on YouTube especially, or even on Facebook, or even on Twitch. Kindly follow wherever you see this video. Kindly follow or subscribe to. On YouTube, we are Music in My Ears, the Nigerian Music History channel. Here on Facebook, my personal Joseph Asipo page is the page we are developing and building for Nigerian music history. And on Twitch is JS Media 69. If you are there, that channel is just new. You can subscribe to it. This video will remain as this live will remain as a video which can be it can be watched at any time. So the guests did not turn up. I've done my best to fill up the gap. So until next time, let me sign off now. This is about 30 minutes since we started. Let me sign off until next week. Thank you for those that have joined. I've seen people that joined today's live stream. I really appreciate. God bless you all. Thank you for everyone. Father Basi, please reach out if there was an issue. Let us know. If it's possible to still talk about your music, you are a legend. You are a big one. Your music, people should learn about your music. They should understand how you manage to create songs that bangs. We're hustling to make their team song. We need to understand so that not even me, the younger generation need to understand. As long as internet lives, these things we are making will remain long after we have gone. But people need to know how things were done or what people achieve in the creative world. So my name is Joseph Aspo once again. I sign out. Peace. Thank you.